There is a force inside you that moves faster than thought, faster than reason, faster than you. You feel it before you know it. And by the time you know it, you've already acted. Said the thing, clicked the thing, reached for the thing, sent the thing. And now you're standing there wondering the same question you've wondered your whole life. Why do I keep doing this? Here's what nobody taught you. That force has a name, and understanding it changes everything. It's called an impulse. And before we talk about when it becomes a problem, you need to understand what it was designed to do. Because your impulse system is not broken. It is one of the most sophisticated pieces of engineering in the known universe. Let me show you. Deep inside your brain sits a structure called the limbic system. It is ancient, 200,000 years old ancient, and its job is simple: keep you alive. When a threat appears, an opportunity arises, a danger approaches, your limbic system fires before your conscious mind even knows what happened. It propels you into action. Run, fight, reach, grab, go! That impulse saved your ancestors' lives every single day. It is not a flaw. It is a feature. But here's where it gets extraordinary. Because the human brain didn't stop there. Sitting right behind your forehead is a structure that no other species has developed quite like us. The prefrontal cortex. This is your regulation system, your brake pedal, your pause button. When the limbic system fires, when the impulse rises, the prefrontal cortex steps in. It evaluates. It considers consequence. It asks, is this worth it? And in a healthy, regulated brain, this conversation happens in a fraction of a second. Impulse fires. Prefrontal cortex responds. You choose. That is metacognition. Thinking about your own thinking. Watching yourself from one step back. The most advanced thing a human brain can do. And most people never learn they can access it. But here's what nobody tells you. For some people, this system gets disrupted. Not because they're weak, not because they lack willpower, not because of their character. Because something changed the neural pathways in the prefrontal cortex itself. And when those pathways change, the brake pedal stops working the way it should. Let me tell you what disrupts it. First, toxic exposure in early childhood. Lead, mercury, pesticides, environmental toxins that cross the developing blood-brain barrier and directly damage prefrontal cortex development. This is not a metaphor. This is neuroscience. Children exposed to elevated lead levels show measurable reduction in prefrontal cortex volume. Measurable on a brain scan. Second, trauma that was never processed. When a child grows up in an environment of chaos, of unpredictability, of danger, their brain learns to live in permanent threat mode. The limbic system stays activated. The prefrontal cortex goes offline. Because when survival is at stake, regulation is a luxury the brain cannot afford. And the child survives. But the adult is still running that same survival program, still reacting before thinking, still acting before choosing. Third, and this one will make you put down your phone and think, social media. Not because it's evil, but because of what compulsive scrolling does to the prefrontal cortex. Every time you scroll, every notification, every unexpected reward, your brain releases dopamine. And dopamine trains your brain to expect instant gratification. Study after study now shows that excessive social media use restructures the neural pathways in the prefrontal cortex. The same pathways responsible for impulse regulation. You are literally rewiring your brake pedal every time you scroll without intention. Now, here is where it matters, because there is a spectrum. And on one end, impulse is normal. Impulse is human. Impulse propels us into action and life. But on the other end, when the prefrontal cortex has been compromised, impulse becomes something else. Road rage. The explosion that comes from nowhere and terrifies even the person having it. Compulsive gambling. The hand that reaches before the mind can stop it. Addiction. Not a moral failing. A hijacked reward system in a brain whose brake pedal was already compromised. Undiagnosed ADHD. Millions of people who have been told their whole lives they are lazy, undisciplined, too much, who actually have a neurologically different prefrontal cortex. Not broken, different, and untreated. And then, the ones I saw most in emergency rooms, people whose impulses were compensating for emotions they had never been taught to process. The rage that was really grief. The recklessness that was really a desperate need to feel something after years of feeling nothing. The addiction that was really the only way the nervous system knew how to regulate itself. None of this is weakness. All of this is a brain doing its absolute best with the pathways it was given. So, what do? You start here.
Yeah.
The next time an impulse rises, before you act, take one breath. Just one. In that breath, your prefrontal cortex has a chance to come online. Not always. Not perfectly, but more than before. And that gap, that single breath, is metacognition. It is you watching yourself from one step back. And from that one step back, you can choose. Not perfectly, but differently. And differently is everything. Follow the shrink tank.